You were very vocal about targeting Josh Allen in 2020, Mr. Mid-round quarterback. Did you end up scooping up lots of shares of Josh Allen this year?
I did. He was my highest rostered quarterback. And look, I don't say that again. I don't say that as like a back pat thing. It's just the way that the research really showed. I go by the research that I publish and the research that I talk about. And it really talked and showed that he was the last guy in that tier that had that true QB1 ceiling. So I just attacked it, and I got him in a lot of leagues. I mean, I also got, I looked at like a Joe Burrow late sometimes, or like a Cam Newton late. But yeah, Josh Allen was someone that, look, I didn't expect the season that he had at all, right? But I did think that it was at least in his range of outcomes, and it just ended up hitting.
Totally. And I thought, especially for like a best ball perspective, that he would give you like that stretch of games for sure at the very least. And I mean, a pretty big win drafting Josh Allen this year. He was the difference maker at the quarterback position, and it wasn't really close. If you look at best ball win rates on rotoviz.com for MFL 10 formats, and just for our listeners, it's pretty much just the percentage of teams who drafted Josh Allen who won their best ball league. Simple as that. Josh Allen had a 16.6% win percent rate this year in 2020. Only Mahomes in his record-setting 2018 season and Lamar last year, those are the only two guys who have higher win rates in the past half decade than Josh Allen. But, the following seasons, these guys' win rates do a total 180, not unlike their touchdown rates. It happened to Pat Mahomes in 2019, happened to Lamar Jackson this season. As their average draft positions rise from rounds 10 or 11 to rounds 2 or 3, the win rates just crater. So thinking about Josh Allen in that context, his third-year explosion this season was just unbelievable. About 45% of all his fantasy points now, almost broke 400 points. So I'm not asking if this was a Cinderella season from Josh Allen, but do you have any concerns that in 2021 drafts that we're going to be paying career year prices for Josh Allen? And are we in or out at prices?
Yeah, we definitely are going to pay some crazy high prices. And, generally speaking, I think that this year of all years, or, entering 2021 in this season, we're going to have less of an idea of where these quarterback ADPs are going to actually land than we've probably ever seen. I mean, there's just so much ambiguity because of what we saw. I mean, we saw these quarterbacks, this group of quarterbacks actually give you an edge and be important in fantasy football when, we have this sort of like dissonance of like people not wanting to draft quarterbacks early. So where's it going to land? I've done a lot of research that shows that opportunity cost in your drafts usually falls off, and opportunity cost being simply, what did you miss out on when you made this choice? So when you're drafting a quarterback in the second round, everyone says, oh, look, I got Lamar Jackson, I got Patrick Mahomes, but you really should be saying, well, I missed out on these running backs and wide receivers, which are way more important positions. And the hit rates at those positions early in drafts is a lot greater as well. So it's really important to know where the drop-offs occur in terms of hit rate at running back and wide receiver specifically. And what I found is that usually round 3 to 4 is where opportunity cost really starts to take a nosedive. And so if you want to give that a little bit of a buffer, you could say mid 4th round is where you should be looking at like the truly studly quarterback. But the problem is, if you think about Josh Allen, where's he going to be ranked? Maybe QB2 next year behind Mahomes. I think that's probable just given the way that he finished the season, right? And so if he's QB2 next year, let's say Mahomes goes in like round 3, and then Josh Allen's like right there. But the tier, the guys that we just talked about, the 8 guys that I think could be top 100 picks, I mean, all of them have a QB1 type ceiling in some way. So you're kind of overpaying for that tier in a way. And so, on top of that, you're going to see some regression. I do think it's good that you can pinpoint, the fact that like Josh Allen had the biggest step that we've ever seen one year to the next of any quarterback ever this year. Like it's not even hyperbole. This is bigger than what Jared Goff did from year 1 to year 2 when Sean McVay got there. I mean, this was insane. At least you can pinpoint and say, well, they added Stephon Diggs, who's one of the best wide receivers in the game, right? So at least there's something there. And then the other thing with Josh Allen is that he does have a good baseline rushing. And we've seen his rushing touchdowns be pretty stable. He had 8, 9, and 8 rushing touchdowns over the last 3 years. So at least that floor is going to be there. I just don't know if he's going to hit the same passing ceiling. So unfortunately, I'm probably not going to have a lot of Josh Allen next year, but I do think that he should be ranked, as the QB2.
Yeah, I like that, JJ. And one thing you talked about with Kyler was his deep passing. Well, Josh Allen improved quite a bit as a deep passer. He was up to about 46% completion rate as a deep passer. That's 20% more than the previous season. Completed 33 deep balls this year after only 18 last year. So that almost doubled. I mean, it's funny because it looks like it's Diggs, but all of those guys are really set up for that. Like Cole Beasley got his fair share of deep targets. Gabe Davis, I think, had the most on the team. So I think that offense is really set up for Josh Allen. And aside from the passing, like you said, JJ, it's death taxes and at least 8 rushing touchdowns for Josh Allen at this point.
Yep.
And Dable should be back. That's some good news.
Which is huge for him. I think that is massive for Josh Allen, especially with the rate that they played with 4 wideouts on the field last year. That was a big surprise that I'd like to see.